So something I never really got. And I mean, maybe for a lot of people, a lot of people, oh, I don't do politics, right? And whether that means I don't vote or I don't think about politics, I just kind of fill out what the fuck ever, I guess. I don't know quite what that means. For some people, I should correct that. Some people I know, it's just, I don't know what to do. It's not like I'm totally unaware of, how bad currently things are whenever, it's just, there's nothing to do there. But I've always pondered, like, how does the right, and maybe the left is the same. Okay. I guess that was the point I was just trying to terribly make. Um, so unself-reflective because I keep hearing about, we don't have enough masculine energy in the workplace. And I can tell you, if corporate calls at work are anything, they're a contest of egos. Um, and that's just kind of how it works. I work with brilliant people. So I get that a lot of people have good reason, to think they're right now. So anyway, point, I don't know that we need more masculine energy, or at least we need someone to kind of explain what does that mean, really, And getting more to the point, I've never understood the right seems completely unself-reflecting because, they'll talk about, they just, that some quarter, some group in that big, big group there, um, does what I'm saying. So, like we'll hear like no contest divorce out, right? Legally, it's not out yet, but a lot of people don't want that. There's a lot of stuff we can get into there, but I mean, that's like, if you're a man, to me, you can, I guess, make that a lot of things, but to me, it's about supporting. And I failed in life on that, and sometimes I thought I was, but I just wasn't, my eyes weren't paying attention to what should have been really important. I was more caught up in work or, my own ego or whatever. And I don't think there's anything abnormal. But that is self-reflection. That's kind of realizing, I could have done better, right? Hopefully not, you know, being fixated on it or whatever, but at least being aware of it. But the right just seems to be telling me I need to be a bigger man or whatever. Because I'm, for you know, some political thoughts that they're not, but mainly because I'm just not a Trump guy, a person, right? And but yet they suck up to the next most powerful person. Their hierarchy is power, and even setting aside, um, the patriarchy or whatever, right? It's power. So you see these people that are all say they're all alpha male up until the point that then they are totally subservient to, President Trump or to Joe Rogan or whomever. you know, and I just don't get that, right? Because, I don't get that their idea of masculine energy is being the man who will do whatever another man tells him. Doesn't really seem to have their own ideas, their own thoughts. It's just yes or no, sir. Not to say that what they talk about, their household being something where the woman respects the man, period. Just period. And one would like to think that that's one of those, marriages where, the woman has her place, the man has his place, whatever. Like the one justice we have who basically she lives by her husband's decree. And she's kind of explained that, well, but that's just, interplay between them, how they are. It's not that he would ever, steer her wrong. But the whole point, though, is that the man needs to be the principal in the relationship. And, and I guess maybe ending, just so I don't ramble on. To me, if you need others to be subservient to you, that says more about your, uncertainty, your, there's a much better word for that, but, about your own manliness, your own place in life, whatever, than it does about, relationships or law or whatever. If you need someone to, and I'm not at all against, if a woman wants to be a crowd wife and the man wants to have that role, and he has the kind of job where he can be the only breadwinner. And that's just what that's the relationship they want. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But when that becomes wrong is when they say, no, everybody else needs to have the relationship that I have. And funny, that kind of gets into what the right will say. Somebody will say, well, no, I want, some group or women to vote even. That's been a while, right? But, I want the right to vote. But, at the time it was seen as taking away from men's right to vote. Which, in a way, yeah, it is. Because if you have this much of the pie and now you're going to split it up, add anyone else to that same pie, yeah, you got a point there, but is it right to keep everyone else from having what you have? So anyway, that's that. And sorry about the lighting, if that makes this look, kind of weird or whatever. All right, have a good day.